was absolutely crazy. And this is kind of my reconstruction, a little bit no slides, only 4 card kind of thing. Basically, what it is, obviously there's a gimmick, and here it is. That's all. That's all you need for this trick. So what you do is you take a card, split it in half. You use double-sided tape. In Ottawa, we call it du Perret tape. And you just kind of glue it onto the card and get to the borders and give yourself a nice border to work with here. So you just kind of glue this to the card and you're ready to go. That's your gimmick. That's it. So, the presentation. What I did at the beginning is I showed you the 4 cards. You can show them really freely. You can even you can show the backs if you're careful, right? So this is your gimmick. So what I did at the beginning is I just did an Asher twist because you can't show the first card to flip is the gimmick card. So I just did an Asher twist. As I'm spreading the cards, one card actually flips. I just started doing this. For the longest time, I did an Elmsley, or I just actually had the gimmick face up in the cards, and I said, I have 4 kings here, you'll have to trust me. Magically, one turned over. And people, that's kind of like a little sucker play. People were like, ooh. I kind of like this better because it builds up the phases. So do it however you want. I say I have a bunch of kings, and one of them will turn face up. Watch. Boom. One turns face up. People are not impressed at all. So what you're going to do, here's the setup of the trick. The gimmick card is always the last card face down on the bottom of the packet. So right now your gimmick is face up. What you do is I'm going to close the 2 cards, one card on top of the gimmick, flip this one over, and put this one in the back. Fast speed, it looks like you just actually, so you have your king that just turned face up, king that just turned face up, you're just going to grab the 2 cards and you're already set. So this is your setup, okay? You have the card, you have the gimmick, the face-up card is always on top of the gimmick. And 2 indifferent cards on top. Not really indifferent, they're the kings. So here's how you spread them. This is really cool, it feels really good, you should try it. So I'm going to come down here, it's a little easier. So I hold the cards like this, and I really spread the first one normally, and I grip. This is the grip. Now it's all done. All I need to do is pull out the bottom card, which is the gimmick, and pull it again. And it gives a perfect illusion of having 4 cards. What you really have is this, right? You don't show that, obviously. So you have your cards set up like this, and here's how you make it visually flip. My pinky acts as kind of like a guard. First off, I actually put all the cards in the crack of my thumb here and rest them on my pinky. Just like this. Now look at my fingers, look at this position, it's absolutely beautiful. All you need to do is move this card forward and it flips. Real speed, it looks like this. Take it, just give it a flip, and actually turns face up. Now, there's a little bit of a setup for the 4 cards, and that's what I'm going to go through right now. I'm just going to go through one. Now this is your second card that just turned up. I tend not to leave this too much because they might see the gimmick. It doesn't happen very much. As soon as a card turns around, I flip the whole packet, and now you're really clean. You're really clean. You can even show both sides of the gimmick, right? And now you're going to do the move again. You have your face down card. It's going to go on top of the king, 1 king. This one's going to turn. They're all going to turn, and your gimmick is going at the bottom. Now we have a little problem. We have our face-up card that's not on top of our gimmick. So there's a couple ways of doing. I used to do for the longest time. I think from 1996 to like 2000. You can quote me on that. What I did is I just pulled this card down, put my finger on top, and pull them both up like this. So now I freed my gimmick so I can put it on top. Now I'm set up how I want. So you're set up how you want. You turn, regrip everything, pull the 2 bottom cards out. Looks like a normal stack. I think in the presentation I did a little fan like that, and the card actually turned around. It looks kind of good, actually. It amazes myself. For the last card, it's always going to be the last one here. Again, you want your face down card to go on top of one of the kings, so it would look like this. Turn everything. The second way, if you don't like my little tilt move here, the second way to do it is just basically kind of like a second deal. you're just going to thumb down the card, grab this one. Make sure you don't flash there, right? So you're going to come down, go up, and out like this. Then you're set up for the fourth. I'm getting dripped on for the fourth one, just like that. So when you give it a shake, boom, you can actually very fairly show 4 cards. That's called Shy Guys. I named it after Guy Hollingsworth, obviously, who absolutely blew my mind. In the actual performance part of the video, at the end of Shy Guys, I changed the kings to aces, which I only do again, for magicians or whatnot. Lay people are happy with these, or with just the changes. So at the end I say, this was so, basically what I have is I have 4 aces in my sleeve. Okay? So I have the 4 aces ready to go, like this, in my sleeve. Just like that. If you notice, if you go back and look at the performance part, I'm doing everything here. Boom. I'm doing all the changes here. My sleeves, my arms stay up. Boom. My sleeves stay up. I do the whole trick like this. Okay. So obviously, if you put your arm down, the cards fall out. So I have the 4 cards, and at the end of the routine, what I do is that the most amazing part of this trick is when the magician took the cards. My focus is all here. I just put my arm down. The cards beautifully fall in place. You just kind of palm them. And then you say at the end of the routine, the most amazing thing was the magician took the card, passed his hands in front of it, and they actually turned to aces. Now this is what I have. I have a huge break, way too big, break. And basically what I do is I just cop the cards. So in light speed, it looks like this. And then the magician took the kings and actually changed them into aces. And you can actually see all 4 of the aces. So what did I do there? It's pretty straightforward sleeving. I had the aces again in my sleeve. I went in front, put the aces on the kings. It changed to the aces. And now what I do is I grab the aces ready for a fan, and I just kind of bring this hand down. It's kind of hard to explain because it's very presentational. You really have to put the focus on these aces kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I go from here, and these actually change to aces. Now to get my arm right now is down. The cards are right here. To get in nice and tight in the sleeve, I actually go like this and point to the aces so they fall nice and deep. So I say the 4 kings actually change to the aces. You can actually see all 4 of them. Well, you saw it there. I'll do it again. The kings change to the 4 aces. You can actually see all 4 of them. Actually, so by you gesturing to the 4 aces, the cards go nice and down, and then you're stuck with 4 cards in your sleeve. I say don't do the change to the aces, the Shy Guys, the flipping the aces. That's all you do.
Now you're probably wondering why there's a thumb tip sitting here. I bet this is the part, as Danny Archer says, where you say, "Man, I hate it when they fool me with a thumb tip." I used a thumb tip, believe it or not. Oh, and an extra key. All right. Here is the setup for this little lovely effect. You need 2 keys that are identical. These keys aren't even cut. If you want to cut them, fine, cut them. But these aren't even cut. This went to Walmart. And you do need 3 different looking keys, okay? This is a house key, as I say on the presentation. This is an office key, and this is my car key. Okay, and then this is a duplicate of my house key or whatever your pattern is going to be, but mine is the house key that I'm going to do the effect with. So that is actually on. So you start off with 4, okay? Thumb tip I have in my left pocket. I'm just going to leave it on the table. That's my left pocket. Kind of like a weird illusion, like I'm sticking my thumb through the table there. Yes, and I'm moving my thumb. All right, so here we go. The handling on this is pretty simple. You just need to get 1 key kept hidden behind your hand here, okay? And the other 3 are fanned out like so. So the exposed view, you got 1 key laying right here, and you got 3 in a fan right here. From the front, it looks fine, okay? You can't, you don't want that dangling down there, of course. Just kind of keep it held in place in your hand. Now I do my little patter about, I say this is my office key, which is a nice little shack down on Main Street. You probably don't want that. You probably don't want my piece of junk Yugo, but you might want my $10 million mansion or whatever. Okay, and so at this point, you actually really take it off. That way there's no acting here. You just pull it right off. That one just kind of goes along for the ride, sits there in the palm of your hand. Stays right there. This comes right off. Sometimes. There we go. Hold it off for a second. Now, at this point, you're just going to do, like a sponge ball move or something. Except it's not with sponge balls, it's with keys. And these are silver and not red. But other than that, it's exactly like a sponge ball move. And you just let this key fall here as you put them in your own hand like this. You kind of close them up. And you ask a spectator to hold out their hand. And you set them in their hand. You do the close their hand and have them turn around. So their hand's just sitting there holding the keys. All right, we're going to put those right there for now. Now I have this. By the way, just for the real geeks out there, I did work out a way where you can have a pull or a reel attached to this key while it's hooked on there. You unhook this from the key ring with a pull attached, and you do a vanish, and it pulls up your sleeve, and it's a really clean vanish, but I like this better. It's more impromptu. So here is the thing. I'm going to show you this thumb tip move first before we shove the key in there, okay? Thumb tip move, Paul Richards showed me this at a convention back in '96, and he told me this was a Richard Ross idea. It's a vanishing thumb tip, basically. It's kind of clever. Every time I do a thumb tip work, this is what I use now. The idea is this. Normally you'd load you go into your thumb tip like so, okay, and pull it out and do one of these or whatever. Well, instead of going into the thumb, your thumb will push down on the thumb tip. So it comes out the back here, okay? So you go in here like this. Now here comes the fun part. Your pinky goes into the thumb tip, and your ring finger clips it and pulls it out. Now, for magicians, I like to do this jam in my thumb in the thumb tip business. Meanwhile, the thumb tip is really here on my pinky. Now, when it's on my pinky, I shove it right into the buttons of my shirt and come out, and now I'm here jamming the thumb tip on, and I turn my hands over like this, and I say which hand is the key in. Of course, it's in neither hand. Thumb tip's in here. So again, this is real quick. We come down on the top, we push it, I load it in the back with my pinky, clip it. That goes into the shirt buttons. Okay. Last night, Eric Leclerc, or Leclerc, if you're French, we were working on this, and he came up with actually a better handling, I think. Turn the thumb tip over, and you push it out the same way, but grab it with your thumb. And as you grab it with your thumb, you're pushing with your finger this time. Your thumb's going into your shirt, and your fingers here will kind of push it in like so. And then your thumb never really goes into your fist. Very clever. So you shove it in there, and I think it's cleaner and it's less angly. I like it a lot better. So I'm going to play around with that and use it. But that's the idea there. Push the thumb out the back. You load it onto your thumb. Thumb goes into the shirt. As your finger's doing this, you come around again and say which hand is in it, and it's not there. So how you do that with a key in it? You just put a key in it. That's all. And then you do the same move, okay? Now this key wedges in there, okay? You got to make sure it'll wedge in there. Key wedges in there. You do the thumb tip move. You pinch it, shove it in there. Come around, which hand is it in? They say this one, that one. Then I like the final line where I say, actually, it's not in this hand or that hand. It's in that hand. And that's where you pause and let that sink in. They open their hand up. They don't expect to see the key, but let alone if they did expect to see the key, you certainly wouldn't be reconnected to the key ring.
Structure, structure, structure. This is all about structure. I also like the idea that it uses the, in Louis Vernon's push to the fist move, the Marlowe thing, or as I foolishly call the twirl change, it uses the change not as a change, but as a secret switch. I love that approach too. I've also set a few ideas beforehand. I'll sort of walk you through it as I go here. Isn't it gravity weird? So what you do is this. You start off by saying, well, take out two cards, two very powerful cards, creating interest. Powerful cards, what do you mean? You take them out, and it's just good natural drama. You put those down there.